And we're back with some, was it Exalted Demake, Storms of Yizhao, Season 2, Episode 2. We are in June 2023. I am Peter the Storyteller, and with me we have...
Hi, I'm Alpha Wolf. I play Burano Suzume, an air aspect dragon-blooded.
Helix, playing Resolver of Outstanding Question, Alchemical Exalt of the Star Metal Cast.
Revelry, playing Krim, the Blaze Unassailable, a Lunar Full Moon.
Also, gang. So, what happened last time? Where are you all at?
We were about to... Sorry.
Go ahead, Alpha.
We were about to investigate the governor's house while staying with him for the night after we got a tip from Mother Yuhan, I want to say it was.
Mother Fuhan, yes.
Yeah, Mother Fuhan, that maybe the governor was sleeping around with some people he shouldn't.
Yeah, I think you first talk with the governor to get the quest, you talk with the prince to get a lot of what the altar is doing, you took a small visit to the altar to see what it's all about, you talk with Mother Fuhan, and then you finish your first night by sleeping in the governor's guest quarters, just so you can have easier access to his, deals or whatever. Okay then. So, who would like to take a lead here, and what are you all doing? How is this coming down? It is night. The scene is yours.
Is the governor's house lit at night?
I'm going to say it's a little bit lit, like it's way less than usual. Like, you don't have, full-on chandeliers or what have you. You have just, the very basic, some candles here and there. There are people walking around with some small lanterns, keeping a guard and what have you.
Very well, everyone. What is our plan for this investigation?
Well, it sounds like there are a few different ways we can go about this. We can check out any illicit paperwork that may have found its way to places it ought not be. Or we can sit in on the governor and make sure he's not doing things he ought not be doing.
Mm-hmm. We're going to find evidence, perhaps.
Let's see. So you're currently guest quarters, which is like closer towards the front of this quote-unquote palace, wooden structure, what have you. Again, this is still under the influence of the Imperial Ward or something like that from the Altar of Heaven, which means that if you're spending essence, you have to spend another essence. And there's the place where the governor is like doing his more day job, so like when he's meeting people and what have you. That's where you've met him before. That's his like office thing. He has a private archive library, what have you. He has his own sleeping quarters. Of course, there are a couple quarters for various guards around here. It's really close to the barracks as well. So, where would you like to go? Who'd like to go? Is everybody going? What's going on?
Do we want to split the party?
Do we? I'm I'm willing to do our big stealth in the mansion. It's one of my cast skills, so...
Okay.
Yeah. My character also has pretty decent stealth capabilities. Revelry, how about yours?
Oh, Krim would absolutely be up for some stealthing, and I think that with that stealth being involved, let's try that again. Krim, I think, is going to try to slip away and find someone suitable, whether that be a guard or a servant.
Yeah, there are definitely some guards walking this perimeter at this moment. Yeah, you can see that many servants bustling in the middle of the night.
How much, bushes and undergrowth are around?
I'd say there is a little bit of a garden in the middle of it, we have those Japanese style that are on the interior of the house, so it's something that's walled in from all sides. And you have your zen relaxing garden, what have you. And other than that, you're in the middle of the city, so there aren't that many bigger bushes, so what have you. This is a military garrison area, so it's mostly ground that's been trodden by horses, walked or whatever, so not much vegetation outside of this.
Alright, well, crap. I'm gonna try to sneak into the mansion.
Okay.
See if I can find physical evidence.
Okay, so roll me dexterity and stealth versus difficulty 7, let's say. Because there are some guards around, just to sneak into the, dormitory area, the sleeping quarters, what have you. Yeah.
So, first of all, I'm going to excellence this. So that means I get my ability rating again in dice.
Again, you have to spend an extra motive, but I guess it's your first free info of the scene, because you're dragon blooded, you have your aspect affinity, so that's free, so you're good.
Okay. And I'm going to socket one of my Hearthstones into my silent chain, actually.
What does your silent chain do?
My silent chain makes it so that all rolls to detect me by sound lose 2 successes for each one rolled, or reinstate the rule of ones if it would normally not apply.
So yeah, roll your stealth roll, and I guess we can go from there. What do you get?
That is 3 successes.
Huzzah. Okay. I guess I should be rolling against that. Okay. You get into the living quarters at the moment, and yeah, you're not detected. You slip past the guards. A little bit easier to see because they're carrying lanterns and what have you, and the whole area is dimly lit. Anything specific you're looking for in this area? There are a few rooms in here. You don't know this layout because you haven't been invited into this area. What's going on?
Okay, so I'm probably going to head towards the garden because that's where you said a lot of the vegetation is. Are there any rooms with windows facing it?
Yeah, there are a few rooms facing inwards with the windows, including what you'd guess would be the governor's sleeping quarters.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to hide in the bushes in the garden and peek into the sleeping quarters.
Well, the sleeping quarters are kind of dark. Do you have anything to help you with that, or do you want to stake things out? Do you just want to see what happens? Do you want to peer in to see what's going on there closer?
Yeah, I'm more peering in to see what's going on a bit closer. Although I'm just wanting to see something. Yeah, I'm just gonna be peering in for the moment.
Okay, from afar, or do you get closer?
I am getting closer. I am hiding in the bushes as I do.
Okay, so you hide in the bushes, you get close to it, and well, let's see that. Yeah, you can see that the something that looks like the governor is sleeping there. He's actually wearing his armor because this is dragon blooded, and apparently you can make your armor really comfy so you can actually sleep in it and be ready for anyone that might attack you. Yeah, his dive is nearby on like a little pedestal thing that just holds it, what have you, and yeah, he seems to be alone. If you want, you can get closer, try to investigate more of his room or what have you.
He's asleep, so as long as I'm quiet, I should be okay.
Yes. So do you want to take this out, or do you want to do something else?
I'm going to come back to this in a bit, but I want to check his correspondences. So if there's an office, I'm going to want to check that out.
Well, you know that the office is another part of the building where maybe someone else has gone. So maybe you can swing the spotlight and see what else have people found. Right? Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who'd like to go next?
All right. Rock will spend an essence and then another one as he leaves the room, hopefully out of sight, to overcome the ward.
Yeah. What are you spending the essence for?
Optical Shroud.
Ooh. What does that do?
He becomes invisible.
Awesome. So does that help you with stealth? What's going on?
Yeah, with stealth. Probably seeing what direction Brana Suzume went, he will go to other buildings and offices and just try to figure out what is where, since he obviously has not been through this entire compound. And so he'll basically be sneaking through the grounds, looking to try and determine what is where, if there's anything interesting, anything that merits attention.
Okay. So, as I mentioned before, you have like the guest quarters, the foyer, and what have you, which you started with. So that's close to the entrance. Then you have the governor's kind of like office day area, and what have you, of course, as behind that you have some room for the staff. So, like you have a kitchen, you have everything else needs servicing, such an area, and what have you. Then, separate from that, what you found out that there's a private library archive of the governor, and separate from that is the sleeping quarters for the governor, where Burano went. So, where would you like to go?
Let's go to the library archive.
Okay, and since you're visible. I'm not even going to make you roll anything because you can just pass everything. How long does that last, actually? Optical shroud.
For the scene.
Rest of the scene. Okay, so I'll think you're invisible. Okay, so you easily slip by the guards. They don't even, don't have a chance to notice you. You get to it. You're in a library. There's a number of there's like racks and racks of scrolls here. A couple bigger ledger type books and what have you. And yeah, at the moment there isn't a light source in here. Everything's kind of dark. Yeah, this just has like some small slit windows just for a little bit of air, not much for like being able to enter from outside, I guess. So very utilitarian and what have you. You have some reading spaces, writing utensils and what have you. So
that leads me to a question. Last session we got 2 supernal XP.
Yep.
I put it into enhancing my optical enhancement charm.
Yep.
Which has several different options. The one I selected to enhance is the one where I can see perfectly in the dark.
Awesome.
And the enhancement is that it no longer takes a mode of essence to activate. With the ward, do you want me to still spend 1, or are you okay with? Okay.
If it's free, it's free. If you have to spend essence by any means, then you have to spend it. But if it's free, so yeah, you negate that. You manage to activate your enhanced vision, and you can see perfectly clearly in this dark library. Okay, what do you do?
I'm going to see if there are any recent scrolls that have been touched. Try to determine what has recently been looked at, what has recently been worked on.
Okay.
To try and see what, if anything, of interest there is.
Let's see.
Or if there's anything out of place.
So roll me perception and bureaucracy at maybe difficulty 7.
Perception plus bureaucracy. All right. Is there a penalty for not having any dots on bureaucracy?
No, there's no penalty for that.
Okay. And the other question, is this a visual perception roll?
Yes, it's a visual perception because you're examining the papers, like seeing whether something has been, has some dust accumulated on it, or something freshly been moved, I guess.
All right. In that case, I will activate the second optical enhancement feature that I spent the other supernal XP into, which is lowering all side difficulty of all side-based perception rolls by 3.
So from 7 it goes to 4.
Yep. All right.
How many successes did you get?
5 successes.
5 successes. Okay.
On 5 dice.
Well, not that hard with difficulty 4. So, okay. You see that this archive in general sees pretty good amount of use on a regular basis. You see a whole ledger that's counting up taxes and it's preparing stuff. Like, okay, what's your, like, you look at the last final pages and see, okay, this is like this amount for the last quarter. They're preparing to ship it. As far as you remember, you were told that they're shipping it like today afternoon. So you have like the quarterly taxes here ready with amount of silver. It's a couple tons of silver, pretty much. For that, you see, there are some other scrolls that are being cataloged more like daily. What's going on? Like some records, there's something about you guys coming in that the governor saw you, and so on, so on. There isn't much details about what the meeting is about, but there's some exiles came and the governor wanted to see them. From what you can gather, a lot of these scrolls have been disturbed within the last month or two. Pretty much all of them. While some of them have lied around for a while without being touched before that. Let's see. Yeah, that's like your cursory glance of the recent most important stuff, I suppose.
All right. So Mother Fuhan suggested that the taxes were unusually harsh, I believe, and suggested.
Mother Fuhan said the taxes were harsh, that the governor is embezzling a lot of money for his private vices and what have you. And I think that's the most allegation when it comes to like the money stuff.
I'll try to see if I can find any corroborating evidence of that, and if I can figure out what those vices might be. Like, could he be actually responsible for what's going on?
Okay. Like, doing this will take you a little bit of time, and to be like spend like an hour or two going through all the records what have you to try to figure this out. So maybe an intelligence bureaucracy role. Sure, difficulty 7 as well. This isn't that hard, just tedious. Just spend your time here.
All right, that sounds good. Intelligence. I think I will spend essence to excellency this, since that's kind of the point of why I'm here.
Awesome.
All right, that is 4 successes on 12 dice.
Okay, so you spent a good amount of time here, like an hour or two, what have you, going over the various records and taxes to familiarize yourself with what this whole city is about, where it's money coming from, and what have you. From that, you can gather a few things. First of all, yes, the governor is taxing people quite a lot, especially in comparison to the years before he took office, which was a few years back. The tax, I know, maybe even doubled in sometimes, is pretty much what you can gather from this, is that they are unsustainable in the long run. Like, he's kind of bleeding the population a little bit. You see some positions in the ledger that's like, some people make donations to the governor, or like, various other things that you can assume, okay, these are probably bribes or what people consider bribes. Well, in this government, maybe that's expected or what have you. This isn't like anything too outrageous. It's definitely corrupt. Definitely, someone's trying to cover this or make it not seem as important, which, you might figure that, okay, this is how the government sometimes works here. You don't see any particular things that you'd strange expenses. Mostly what you see is that there's big lump sums going out, which comes with his quarterly taxes. So he's sending, again, more money that is expected from him by the region to sustain. Yeah, he's paying extra, and it's being filed under donations to the what's it called? Patron War Front, the other war that this nation is currently fighting, which is with another 100 kingdoms. This isn't the border where you're at, not the Ragtime Confederacy. This is the other one. If he's hiding anything, it's large lump sums that are disappearing along with the shipment somehow, maybe. You only have the records of the money being sent with the taxes. Whether it disappears and reappears somewhere else, you can't say from these things.
All right, sounds good. I think as I'm doing a lengthy investigation here, this would be a good time to swing the spotlight.
Yep. So what is Krim up to?
So Krim realizes that, well, it's late. There aren't an awful lot of servants being around, so there will be no stalking any of them down and making use of their shape. And the guards look like they're all patrolling in a regular pattern.
Well, as regular as anyone that's doing a night shift patrolling, things like as they feel like they move about, whatever. So, if you're good at this sort of stuff, you know how to avoid them probably.
Okay, so that should be easy enough to get around. After the others slip out, he'll try to enter into a bird shape.
Okay.
It's going to be a large predator bird.
Oh my. What kind of large predator bird?
Large hawk, eagle,
Okay.
something in that range.
So, what do you do with that shape?
Are you going to make me roll for it? Let's start there.
The transformation tech roll? I know. Do your mechanics for transforming.
Okay. So for that, it's going to be a difficulty. Just had it here. Come on.
Let's see if we can find this in the Lunar PDF.
There we are. Okay, so to do it without spending essence, the lunar spends a turn concentrating, and the player rolls the lunar's essence rating against a difficulty 6.
Okay, then. Do it then.
All right, that's going to come up a 2, which fails. So I am going to just spend the mote, which I guess will be 2 motes.
Yeah.
So I will take the time to burn those 2 and enter into the bird shape.
Okay, then.
All right, so once that takes place, he'll take to the air. He will do a breeze about the area, see if anyone other than the guards are making motions around in the middle of the night when everyone should be resting. Just to see if anything shady is going on, like that supply of funds being loaded and anything that ought not be funds.
You don't see any. Actually, well, let's roll perception awareness difficulties 7, I guess, unless you have something for some side bonus for being a hawk or something.
I do have keen sight. All right. Which is an aspect that is not on the lunar set. Let me see if it is in traits. It is not. All right. I don't know where the keen sight rule is.
Let's see. Would that be under traits? Because that would be
As an
tied.
aspect.
Keen sight, if it's like other keen senses and previous things, it's probably a -2 difficulty to sight-based perception.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. So that brings it down to, was it 4 or 5?
5.
5. All right. We will go with. And that will be 6. All right, looks like 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, you see there are some night watch out on the walls and what have you. You see some people checking the streets in general. There are some people still about, some your regular, rabble as well. A little bit of some shady business going on in general, but like nothing out of the ordinary you'd expect. Well, you wouldn't expect out of the city life. So yeah, nothing of note draws your attention.
All right, with nothing really showing up, Krim will find a nice place to roost with a good view of the area and settle in.
Okay, so you just want to be observing any comings and goings, I suppose?
Yes, it'll be observing the comings and goings and seeing if anything happens as the night progresses.
Okay, for now, you don't notice anything. I guess we can then swing the spotlight back to Puran and see what you come up with. Hawk is observing. So, you wanted to go into the governor's sleeping quarters to figure out his correspondence or go to his office?
Yes, I did want to do that. More like a personal office, though, as opposed to what RL Chemical is doing. I want to check personal correspondences.
Chemical is checking his archives, which are separate from his office area.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go to his office and check his correspondences.
Okay, so roll me your dexterity stealth, difficulty of 7, to go from one area to another.
Do I need to reapply my excellency or no?
Let's say it's a continuation of the same scene, so you don't have to. Actually, excellency lasts a few minutes, right? So you'd have to reapply it. So yeah.
I do? Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, I will do so. And I'm using the undergrowth to hide. For what that's worth.
Yeah, the undergrowth mostly is within this sleeping area. So, you have to go back into the building proper and then go through the corridors and so on. So you don't get bonuses from hiding the undergrowth there. It doesn't reach that far.
Screw me, I guess. All right. 5.
5
successes.
Awesome. You sneak by, even before, you give the wandering guards a wide berth and you're there. You're in the office. You sneak open some latch, whatever that was in place. And yeah, you are pretty much in the same room that he invited all of you to meet with him and so on. Okay. So, what do you want to find here?
Personal correspondences, maybe things like love letters out to courtesans and stuff like that.
Okay. Let's see. What would be a good start for this? Perception investigation. Difficulty 7, because it's still dark here.
Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Yeah. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. You go through his personal correspondence. let's see. You don't notice any love letters to any mistresses he might have. You find maybe like one letter from his wife from the capital. It's a little bit dull, perhaps. Nothing like steamy or what have you. It's like, oh yeah, but my life is fine. The children came to visit and what have you. To figure that they are an old couple from this. That they both have their lives, whatever. They're not like anything special going on there. Let's see. More recent correspondence. What would you have? You have a request from Noyan Tomor, the captain of the Toban Horse Archers, that the gave you as one of the people to talk to. He says that he'd like to go do a raid into the countryside to thin out the monsters and see whether there's any ragtime incursion going on. And that seems to be like some sort of official request he put in with his sloppy writing and, not following any kind of formulas and what have you. And yeah, besides that, you have people that are reporting that they're preparing and like ready to do the tax shipment on time and schedule. And yeah, other than that, just some boring governmental stuff. So complaining about one thing or the other, as people complain about the taxes being too high and what have you. And yeah, nothing that catches your attention will be corroborating that he's having affairs here. At least, not in his office, in the recent mail.
Okay, anything that might indicate if there is embezzlement going on, so like where that might be going?
No, you don't see any immediate evidence of anything incriminating as it comes to money investment. It's that the only thing, probably the report of like, oh, the taxes are being ready. There's maybe some mention of the extra taxes will also be able to be transported and what have you.
Okay.
Actually, roll me perception investigation at difficulty 9, perhaps some bonus stuff.
Okay. So, what does willpower do in this system again?
Lower the difficulty by 1.
Okay, I'm not sure that's worth it.
It's about to be morning and you're going to rest, so you're going to regain it right away.
Yeah. Okay, so that is 2 successes.
Okay. Let me get this name straight, because I think it is a little bit important as to who it was. Yeah. Amongst all the correspondence and what have you, you see some small note from Adept Yilu. Let me just paste that into chat. So you have that. And he is talking about some kind of divination about the outlook of the endeavor, that the day is dated to today, as in, after the night when the morning comes, it'll be this day. And it is saying that he's advising extra caution in the endeavor, and he's advising to assign extra protection because some kind of like tree interference might be coming in, or something that's a very roundabout way that's trying to occlude its meaning, but yeah, that catches your attention.
Okay. Divination, you said, and then... Would my occult knowledge be of any use here?
Sure. How much occult do you have?
4.
4. Okay. So this pretty much seems that someone did astrology to figure out the future about some kind of endeavor that will be happening today, and it seems that they've noticed that something will be going on, which. Yeah, I guess, just based on your knowledge and know you recently looked at this stuff, you guess that it might be relating to you guys being here and possibly being involved in these shipments of silver.
Okay. Yeah, that is definitely worth noting.
Okay. Anything else you'd like?
For me, at the moment, I think I'm just gonna go back. I think I'm gonna go back to our sleeping quarters because she's probably Suzume is probably feeling pretty tired at this point.
Sure thing. You can get back to your quarters, no problem. Okay. Does anyone else have something? A resolver?
Yeah, Rock is going to head back.
Okay, and Krim, after some hours of observation, you don't see any movement of note that you'd classify as suspicious. There are guards coming in and going like at a very small trickle, what have you. Like, okay, they're rotating. Someone's taking the first night shift, someone's taking the other night shift, what have you. There aren't any weird individuals coming to this area that you can see.
Well, with nothing unusual happening, Krim will roost until the moon is high, and then at that point head back inside, dropping off somewhere subtly to maybe appear to be dropping off before heading back in.
Yeah, you can stealthily glide over to the window you left open for yourself, or what have you, and yeah, you'll reconvene back to your room together.
Anyone find anything?
Honestly, the comings and goings of this place are a terrible bore, and I almost feel that I should have been sleeping the whole night.
Understandable. I didn't find much either. Although, he did have a personal correspondence from a diviner who was advising caution for an endeavor that he was undertaking tomorrow. I've reason to believe it's related to us and probably the silver shipments.
Fascinating. For myself, I've investigated the records. It would appear that the governor is taxing this area much more heavily than his predecessor. However, he does not seem to be spending the money here. He is sending it as a contribution to the war chest of his country, back to his capital.
Well, that makes me wonder, are they winning the war or losing the war?
All the local knowledge where you have the local politics, it's still an ongoing war, so it's still decided. It's a hotter front than this current border you're in right now, because over here with the Racktines, it's a prolonged Cold War, like animosity and what have you.
Unfortunately, I lack the knowledge of local politics and tactics sufficient to make a determination if this course of action is prudent on the governor's part.
I don't think it would be the first time that a governor was pressed to create income for a war effort. Although I am curious.
Definitely not the first time.
Of course not. The other thing is, when was the message from the diviner?
Okay. So first of all, our acquisition would know that the governor was not asked for extra money for the war front. He seems to have done it by himself. It's like his own initiative. And the note seems to be really it seems to have been sent yesterday.
So when we got here, well, no, we got here earlier today.
Yeah, you got here yesterday in the morning. You don't know what time the note necessarily was sent, unless you had some investigation, but it doesn't appear to be older than a day.
That is very odd timing, admittedly.
Yeah.
But does it sound like the horoscope was ordered beforehand? Like, does this seem like routine correspondence of, hey, I'm shipping stuff, here's a horoscope for the shipment? Or was it more like, here are these weirdos who we invited to show up, draw me a horoscope?
Well, it is customary to consult the astrology, appease some spirits and have you in creation before undertaking any big serious endeavors. So that is the routine. Whether this is someone that asked, yesterday, like, hey, I just invited these videos during his horoscope, like, hey, I expect this report by this month, whatever, what have you, like in advance. It's hard to tell from this thing unless you have some kind of charms to throw at it.
Okay. Actually, there is something I want to do.
Yes.
Peter?
Yep.
Yeah. So I actually have a charm that allows me to see and interact with dematerialized beings.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to use that and see if I can get any information from the local spirits around here.
Okay. Well, yeah, so that's the whole immaculate martial arts intro charm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you activate that, because you have time to activate it without a problem, you don't see any spirits from where you're at the moment, which isn't unusual. They don't just hang around everywhere, at least the important ones, what have you. So you'd have to, go out and find some spirits if you want to be communing with them. Can't do it from your bedroom.
Yeah. I like to go out and find them. Making an excuse of I'm just going out for an evening stroll. I couldn't sleep.
Okay. Would anyone else like to do something before that or in the meantime?
I think I'm good.
I think this sounds like trouble, and that Krim should go too.
Okay, then. So, would you all go? Would you like to do it in the morning or what have you? Do you want to do it before, the night ends?
I'm doing it before the night ends.
Okay. Yeah. Let me think for a moment. Let's maybe wrap this recording so we can do some small break, and then we can continue from there. And we're back. Okay, so Burano decides to go out, have a late night walk out in the city streets to try to find some local spirits. As far as I remember, I think in the charm we can do the slow way, which requires a roll, so that shouldn't be an issue. You have plenty of time. So I'm not going to make you roll or spend the essence. So you realign your chakras, what have you, and you can perceive the spirits of this area. In general, maybe let's make some roll to see who you could find. What do you think would be a good roll here? Perception and socialize, I guess. Okay, trying to find somewhere where spirits would hang out. Difficulty 7, let's say.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you leave that palace, you don't need to double spend your essence. Everything's fine there.
That is one success.
One success. Okay. So after walking around for a while, you eventually manage to find some small tavern, what have you, where that's open up in the night, I guess, for the guards that are like coming down from the being the walls, what have you, from being the night watch. And in there, you notice there is one spirit that's hanging out among the people there. They don't seem to notice it, but it's like enjoying the atmosphere of, middle of the night, calm guard, tavern kind of area.
I'm going to peek in through the window and be like, psst. Hello?
Okay. With enough effort, you manage to let the spirit know that, yeah, you can see them and you want to interact with them and what have you. And yeah, they come over. They seem to be like a masculine figure, seems to be draped in something that's more like cloth robes, what have you, like something that maybe Roman-esque things have, like togas and what have you. And they approach the window, lean over, and like, oh, who might you be?
I am Barano Suzume.
Well, nice to meet you, Bruno. I'm Crimson, the god of the Banner District, and what brings you here?
Yeah, so we're investigating this Altar of Heaven thing, that artifact, and why it seems to be upset. Do you know what might be doing that? Because we've tried investigating the governor, and we haven't come up with any evidence, so would you happen to know of anything?
Well, I'm not an expert on weird artifacts like that, but I've heard some rumors that it's punishing people for the transgressions against the pattern and what have you. And yeah, figuring out why exactly is it causing that. Definitely a pickle. Everybody's asking about it. They've been asking about it for a year now. It's like the whole gossip is like definitely a lot of people are interested in it, especially the spirits, because hey, if it brings down the town, then we won't have, anything to do around here.
So, have the local spirits seen anything really suspicious against the whole, pattern thing? Like, affairs or, embezzlement, perhaps, among the upper classes, especially the government?
mean, these things, appear every now and then. You don't have, this isn't a particularly virtuous town or what have you. Everybody does something a little bit shady on the side. I don't think I've heard of anything out of the ordinary from the other spirits. I mean, they definitely are upset by what's going on because it's wrecking the spirit world as well. But, I mean, this isn't Nexus, this isn't, the Blessed Isle, what have you. It's somewhere in the middle. It's like, there are a lot of things going on here. What might be causing this? I mean, who knows?
I see. Well, I appreciate your help. Is there anything I can do for you?
No, not unless you can, I know, clean up this whole place, because there are a lot of horses, going in and out of this whole area. They've been for a few years, ever since this governor came over. More than usual. He seems to have hired some top-on horse archers. We didn't have that before.
Okay. So what kind of cleaning do you need done? Dust or...
Well, the streets are half horse shit by volume, so, that would be nice to start.
Yeah, I'll see about finding a way to get things done.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Okay. So, what else would you like to do?
I think that's it.
Okay,
That's about it.
You meet back up with your fellows, and it is up to you what to do next. The morning will be rising as you guys see fit. You can investigate someone in the morning before the silver shipment, and yeah. Where would you like to go next?
So I'm assuming we went to bed after this and had a good night's sleep.
Yeah, sure, I'll give you guys a night's sleep to recover your willpower.
Sweet.
It was like half a night, but whatever. And yeah, you get your mod recovery in the morning for whoever that applies to.
Right. Which this system is 3 plus essence, if I remember correctly, plus gold.
Something like that. And yeah, Colt can also stack you above that in a separate pool if that doesn't fill you up. And yeah. And if you have Hearthstone, then the appropriate amount of time also can pass, like depending how often you get that essence back from it, and so on. So do your upkeep. It's the morning.
Someone's upkeep at the other end of the day.
Well, you had your essence generation before your adventures. Okay, it is morning. Who would you like to meet? Where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
You mentioned
what is your oyster?
Yeah, you guys mentioned the sage. That sounds fine to me.
Yeah, let's meet the sage.
Okay, beautiful Sage Faye. Well, let's see about her. Let's see. Pull them up. Where's my notes? Okay. Sage will be meeting you guys at the Flower District, which is where the more prestigious tea houses are, and also where the Red Light District is, and what have you. Let's see. On the way there, what do we have here? Yeah, you see some person that seems to be wailing the streets. He looks like some kind of shoe cobbler or what have you, and he's making a ruckus, lamenting about the governor's taxes and how he can't afford his son's tuition and education because of this, and welling up in tears, just ugly crying there, and some people are looking at this and trying to give him a bit of a wide berth, and it looks like there are some militia coming by slowly. You can interact or you can ignore this whole situation.
I'm at least going to try to make sure they don't attack the guy who's complaining.
Well, they come on over and tell him to stop it because he's disturbing the peace. Then he goes wailing more like, oh, I'm paying way too much taxes. I can't afford this. I can't afford to live here and pay for my son's education. What future will he have without it? And, he started to get louder, and they're like, okay, stop it or we'll, drag you off to, they'll drag him off to Yemen to get fined for disturbing the peace, and then they proceed to do so. Not really beating him up, but definitely picking him up, under their arms.
As they move to do that, I am just going to stop them.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Why are you doing this to this poor man?
Is disturbing peace. Look at all these people being upset by, his complaining, his loud noises in the public street. As you look over the people there, seem to be a bit more sympathetic to the guy than the constables.
And people are not allowed to voice their opinions?
Well, you're allowed to voice your opinions, but you're not allowed to make a scene out of it. That's disturbing peace. We like things nice and peaceful over here in Yizhao.
All I've seen since coming here is misery.
Oh. Be that as it may, we like things peaceful.
Leave the man alone.
They look you over. Do you look like a dragon-blooded?
I have breeding 5. My aspect markings are incredibly fucking obvious.
Yeah, they quickly look you over, see that they're outclassed, and they leave this guy alone, slowly walk out. Okay, we don't want any trouble. The guy, crawls over you and say, thank you for saving me from those ruffians that beggar me even further.
Are you okay?
Well, I'm not hurt, but I'm not okay. I mean, the taxes are too high for me to afford to, continue with my work and affording, my son's education. Without it, he'll just, end up, I don't know, join the military, maybe at that. He's not fit for the military. He won't survive there.
I understand. We're looking into the situation that's causing all this.
Oh, the governor, his high taxes?
That, among other things.
We're ever so grateful this taxes were eased. It wasn't like this in the previous governor.
What happened to the previous governor?
Well, he moved on to another office, and Governor Wu Jiang was put in his place. I heard that, he got punished for something in the other front. He's a war general, and this isn't exactly the highest esteemed position, so he's probably being punished.
If the prior governor moved on, can this governor be caused to move on?
I mean, yes, this isn't. I know he doesn't own this place. He's governing it for the regent. I mean, politicians come and go every now and then as the government sees fit. I heard that the censor's here to investigate the government. Maybe he finds something wrong with him. He'll be let go of this position. Maybe we'll get a new governor, a better governor.
I would certainly be willing to do so, but have a good day, sir. We need to get to investigating and what is causing the altar of heaven to act up, shall we say.
Oh, thank you for your generosity of your time and saving me from those people. Just bows over and what have you. And yeah, you can move on as you will. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here.
Qual's also stepped away.
Wait. Oh, okay. A second. And we're back. Okay, so after that small commotion, you make your way to the Flower District. This is a much cleaner district than before. You don't see that many, rabble around, what have you. Even the horses don't threaten you all that much. The streets are neater, the buildings are cleaner, and what have you. And yeah. You make your way to one of the nicer tea houses around here. And this is where you can meet with the beautiful Sage Faye, who comes in, soon after, because, you let her know that you want to meet with her, what have you. And yeah, she is a younger woman. She looks quite nice. She's well, properly dressed. The hair done up in a neat bun and what have you. She has the youthful, colorful clothing. I'd say she doesn't look like a person that's married and what have you. She comes in with some older auntie, what have you, chaperone person that just comes up with her. She introduces herself and her aunt. The aunt takes a small leave, sits like 2 tables over, not to disturb your conversation. And yeah, do you guys order some tea, some rice wine, what have you, something else?
Tea.
Tea.
Also tea.
So you're all having some nice proper tea, well prepared and have you. This is some nice proper establishment thing. So finally, better drink even than the governor's palace. So yeah, she goes, oh, well, thank you for meeting me. It's an honor to meet your acquaintance. I'm beautiful Sage Faye, and I had some questions for me.
Yes, we are investigating the crimes that have made the altar of heaven upset.
Oh, yeah, U.S. investigators for that. Oh, that's lovely to hear. So how may I help you?
Now, we understand that you are an expert on the code of the pattern.
Oh, yeah, yes. People say that about me, that I am a well-versed person in the pattern. What would you like to know about it? Do you have any questions? Would you like me to go over the basics for you? She looks over all of you, and all of you look like foreigners here. Look at the lunar. Did you eat someone that looks local?
Oh, I'm not wearing anyone local, but thank you for asking.
So, do you have any specific questions, or would you like me to give you the general overview?
Yes, we got the bare bones basics from the prince. So there is a question I do have, because we've heard a lot of people complaining about overtaxation, and I mean, based on our own investigations, we've got to agree it's not sustainable. So would that be something that could potentially be judged as a violation of the pattern by the altar?
I don't think taxation itself would be breaking the pattern by itself. I mean, if the rulers need to rule by example, so they need to be just and what have you, and people need to look up to the rulers for how to live their lives. And if if sacrifices need to be made and it comes down on everybody equally, what have you, in form of taxation, like I know, for emergencies, for reliefs or wars or what have you, then it is possible for it to be a just taxation, just burden for everybody to share. I mean, unless, of course, it's embezzlement or the funds aren't going to where they're supposed to. In that case, then it could be seen as a transgression because the government is not ruling by example. It's not being virtuous with the funds everybody's pulling together.
Perhaps then the same could also be said of accepting bribes.
I mean, accepting bribes is definitely not a good thing to do. I mean, yeah, that is not leading by example. That is not serving your role in the society. That's bypassing what's the burden that you should be having, or where everybody should be treated equally according to the station, what have you. And yes, I do believe that people, common people, in their burdens by bribing the officials is contributing to the pattern being violated and the altar wanting to punish people.
All right. So we do have some evidence of that. Do you know of any affairs within the government, like carnal affairs?
You can tell him for a second. You were saying?
Do you know of any affairs within the government, like carnal affairs specifically?
Oh my, that would definitely be something. I mean, I'm not privy to what's going on in the echelons of the government. I'm just a lowly, woman here without a position. So I'm not, I don't have any information about what might be going on there. I'm not one to gossip and what have you. And what else would there be? I think that'll be mostly it for her.
All right. So what do you do as a sage?
Well, as any woman, I studied the pattern, the philosophy to, know my place in life and what have you. I'm mostly, interested in it for personal betterment. I mean, learning is one of the main virtues of the pattern, and being my title is mostly honorary. It's mostly what other people call me. I can in our society, women are here to get married and make children, and I'm looking forward to eventually having a husband, and so on and so on. I'm still young, still looking. So I don't have a official position, but I mean, I do study, the classics, and have you, the literature, and talk with various philosophers, sages, other actual sages that spend their times in monasteries, what have you, and mostly at the moment, treat myself.
Okay. So you're not like a priest or anything?
No,
Okay.
I am not an ancestor priest or what have you. I mean, I could be, but I think settling down and having a nice husband, children, that's will be a perfect thing for me when the time comes, when you find a proper partner.
Okay, so you mentioned war efforts could be seen as donating money to war efforts could be seen as just, but what if the effort isn't for these people? What if it's for another country?
I mean, we're taking the money from here and giving it to someone else to find to found to fund their war. What do you mean that we're taking money from here and funding another front for our country? Because the government is funding a war that the regime of Dolby as in this country is fighting just on another side of it. They're not funding foreign wars.
Okay. My apologies. I'm still trying to get the hang of the structure around here.
But yeah, I to believe that if we are one nation under the guidance of the king and under being shepherded by the regent. So if the left hand needs to help the right hand and what have you, then there isn't anything wrong with that. If everybody would be in it for themselves, then the society would collapse because the war front can't support itself. It needs the might of the other people that aren't burdened by it.
So wait, have the phenomenon here with the whole altar thing has that only been happening in this city?
I mean, in this specific manifestation of the altar of heaven, this is localized to Yizhao. Yes, there are other altars in other cities that might be imposing, the same laws, but I haven't heard of any of them acting up like this in ages.
So there's something in this city, or
Yes.
something.
Yes, from what I heard, the altar of heaven only enacts its will upon its purview, and its purview is the Yizhao and anything the altar can see. So probably a few miles around it is where its perception ends.
You say where it can see. Is it intelligent? Can it have a conversation?
You'd have to talk with the Prince Yan Zhao. He might know it more intimately. From what I know, it's really strange. It might be intelligent. It might be, what should call it, an animated intelligence somewhere in there. But I'm not sure. I mean, we know that it can judge people based on that and enact its vengeance. So there is some intelligence to it, and you can talk to it. I wouldn't be privy to that information.
That actually might give us a lead. Thank you.
I mean, if you want, there is, of course, a way to influence the altar. And out of her sleeve, she produces a bolt of what seems to be a like a long parchment scroll all rolled up, but looks metallic. So if anyone wants to roll me perception and occult or craft that difficulty, let's say 7,
I'll take that occult roll.
do it.
And spend an essence for an excellency.
Yes. Is that your cast? Do you get that for free for this turn, or?
Yeah, it is a
see.
cast ability for me.
So you don't have to spend an asset because it's the first invoke of your aspect charm in this scene.
Awesome. So that's going to be 11 dice at F7. That's 3.
Okay. You see that it is made out of star metal, and it looks like an artifact and seems to be a really high grade one. This isn't just something like woven. This is something that looks like first age artifact-esque thing.
Do I even want to know why you have this? Or how you have this?
Well, I did consult with some other sages and philosophers and people about the problem we had with the Altar of Heaven. I mean, I've been trying to also solve it, and they pointed me to this thing, which they call the river chart. So apparently, the Altar of Heaven isn't operating at its full capacity, and this is an upgrade, some kind of patch, or what have you, that would make it fully awaken and act at its full capacity in order to solve the problems Yizhao might be having. From what I got, that if you take this to the Altar of Heaven and you touch the altar, it will fix it. It'll be working perfectly, which means it will be able to root out the corruption in the city of Yizhao within a day and solve all these problems.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. That is a first age artifact, as is the altar.
I mean, yes, I heard that the True King was active before the usurpation, before the anathema, before the Balorian crusade on Hagen. So yes, that would definitely track.
Okay. Wow.
If I may,
Okay.
Yes.
This device seems to have been manufactured from materials that are resonant with mine. May I examine it more closely?
I mean, sure. She starts unrolling the scroll, and definitely, a couple feet long. So it just takes out the whole table, and there's still some, rolled up. How would you like to examine it?
I'm good with either crafts or occult.
Okay. Intelligence and occult. Do you know Old Realm?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. Then difficulty, let's say 8. And it's a perception-based roll, so you can activate your visor bonus thing.
All right.
Yes?
Go ahead, Alpha.
Would you allow me to assist, Peter?
I don't think there are rules for assisting the system, so at least I don't remember. Unless you can find it, let requisitions do it for themselves. But yeah, you definitely are also looking at it. I guess you get the same information. Is that fine?
All right. I will spend an essence for an excellency. And you said occult?
Yeah. Intelligence, occult, difficulty 8.
Difficulty 8, lowering it down to 5. Okay. 10 successes on 13 dice.
Jeez.
Okay, so you pretty much dissect everything there. So first of all, you look at it, and she's with a starlight, whatever. You look at it closer, and it has eye-wateringly precise, tiny first age old realm glyphs on it, all the way from one corner to the next. Sort of lengthy kind of prayers and sutras and many other things that pretty much from what you gather, it recites what the altar should be doing, which in general, it complies with everything you've been hearing that, oh, yes, it imposes the will, it follows the pattern, it punishes the people for crossing it. It also has what you could describe as an upright protocol, where it transforms some offenders into citizens, and have you those uprights we've seen, and so on and so on. Any questions you'd like to have about the operation of the altar? Anything this? Yeah. Also, you can know that yes, this is pretty much what she says. It is. This will make sure that the altar functions as it was created, as it was programmed, at peak efficiency.
Does it mean it is likely to turn a large chunk of the population into the upright if they don't live up to its standards?
You put the two and two together, and yeah, it has protocols for if someone is following the pattern, someone's not leading a virtuous life, it'll transform them into an upright. It doesn't say that it will just transform everybody, just people that aren't virtuous, which from what you've seen in the city means a lot of people, because not everybody here is as pure and virtuous as possibly beautiful Sage Fae and some other ones. I know it won't affect so-called Junzi, the educated, higher class people. So, for example, the sage, the governor, the prince, what have you, they will be unaffected. You guys will be completely unaffected. Similar people supposed to be exalted, unaffected completely, and so on, so on. But yeah, the common people, like the guy you've seen in the street, yeah, totally going for him. The guards, yeah, they're going to get transformed, and so on, and so on, and so on.
I believe that enacting this protocol will have rather widespread ramifications.
I mean, yes, it'll root out all the corruption from the city. Everybody will be living, proper moral lives. And in that environment, no corruption, no secrets, no foul acts may take root, because you won't be able to hide it.
About that.
Yes.
So here's the thing. People like us, and I'm just going to gesture to the party here, aren't affected by the protocol.
I mean, yes, you're exalted. You're above this.
Yes, so follow my logic here. If the corruption is coming from the government, and the government is all made up of exalted, only the common people are going to be affected for things that the exalted government is doing.
Well, unless one specific exalted is summoning demons of the second circle by themselves without involving anyone, without telling anyone else, it will be really hard for any secret to stay secret, because you usually have co-conspirators, you have your lackeys, your ghouls, your thugs, and what have you. And so, so if anyone ever heard a peep about this, even they got bribed or threatened or extorted into keeping secret, they will come out. They will let the government know. They will let you know everything that's going wrong in the city. And not all of the government is exalted. Only a handful of the government are exalted. And they still have.
Rock looks mildly disturbed.
They still have servants. They have butlers, cooks, nannies, everybody like that. The children. They are someone has to hear about something.
That's going to be a major issue if we enact this.
I mean,
The thing to the matter is, no one is as perfect as the pattern wants people to be.
What if we change the pattern?
There's an idea.
well, she's going to say oh no, you can't change the pattern, but our alchemical here, seeing the scroll, you figure yeah, you can mess with the source code here. You can definitely change it to to your whims. It will definitely be a little bit of a crafting miracle here to make it work as you want. But probably there are probably ways of altering how the altar works, and it's probably within your capabilities. Please, judging by this, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask a really geeky question.
Yeah.
So, if I can change how it works, or I can figure out how to change how it works, can I figure out how to introduce a bug into it and crash it?
You have pretty much the whole operating procedures here, and there are a few options here. First, of course, empowering it, making it work at full power. That's one thing. Secondly, you can change it so it judges some things differently. If you want to just tweak things, bribery is legal now because we want that, or something like that, or theft is legal. You can change the morals here, definitely. You can do that. You can make it less powerful, so it's not as angry or what have you. You can shut it down completely. That's definitely something you can do safely. Put it in or off mode. It'll be hard to pull it back up, but it's possible with some exalted effort. There's also a option to just put it in self-destruct mode where it just blows up.
But here's a question. What is it currently programmed to defend against? Because it's a warmance, you said.
It's pretty much programmed to defend against hostile magic in general. More specifically, it's useful against stuff like fair folk, against hostile sorcerers, trying to do sorceress workings around this area. So, it won't fight you an army, but it'll definitely make a Fairfolk incursion way harder because they rely on weird things that will be disrupted by this. Low magic, sorcery things will also have problems. Hostile exalts will be down to you felt its presence if it's really close by, in the governor's mansion. Definitely, it will make things problematic. Of course, if you're attuned to the altar, you're not affected by it, so you can bolster defenses way easier. So this is creating an asymmetric warfare here, and what have you. So, yeah, it's kind of like a broad defense against things. But yeah.
And can I make it fulfill its war functions and not its moral police functions, if I so choose?
Yeah, you could definitely disable the morality protocol. You see that it's mostly there because the True King wanted those to be tied so that only it's their chosen people, so people that follow their fate, would be protected by its magics and its will continue, and so on. So on. It's definitely something with good effort you could carve out of this system.
I think we have our goal then. Carve it out.
Yeah.
Sage, hey.
Yes.
The young prince, there is something that he
him.
said that led me to believe he is not exalted. However, other things suggest that he is. Do you know which it is?
Oh, he's definitely has the blood of dragons. He's, I think, blessed by Hesiah, the fire aspect, I believe. He does come from the pure regent bloodline, so he has very good upbringing, have you. But, yeah.
I am so sorry to say that it's nowhere near what I've seen in the realm.
Well, we might not be as magnificent as the Scarlet Dynasty. Probably our Dulanbai's splendor has waned a bit over the 1,000 years, but I mean, we have an unbroken line of succession since the usurpation, if not even longer, to which the realm can boast. I mean, even though the Balorian Crusade, the Kingdom of Dulanbai was a bulwark against the incursions, thanks to the Altar of Heaven and similar products.
Right. Well, we need to do something about that taxation. And I think we have a plan as far as the altar. And I'm just going to whisper to our alchemical, do you think we could use this scroll as an update to carve out the moral philosophy side of things?
With some effort.
All right. Then, yeah, I guess it's time to investigate the silver shipment. We will thank Faye for her time.
Okay, let's see. Just looking. Would our alchemical have any intimacy that would make him want to follow through with Sage's plan here, or no?
The intimacies are loyalty to the home nation, learn more about weaving practices, and which is sorcery, and catalog unknown phenomena. So,
yeah. And the nation so yeah, I don't like. She would try to convince you, but she doesn't have any point to grab onto. So you're fine from her trying to sell you on this. But yeah, even despite that, she leaves you with this artifact, hoping that you'll find it within you to that this is the best option to solve this. And yeah, she dutifully lets you go and have you.
Now, if I was closer to clarity, to high clarity, I'm pretty sure I would be tempted to weave the autochtonian protocols into it instead.
I mean, that's definitely something you could do. Hey, everybody, ram and the gem into your forehead.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that in the description of my character. My character has a soul gem in the middle of his forehead.
As all good autochthonians do.
Indeed.
So, yeah, even when you're a bad autochtonian, a lump still have something. Maybe it's a little bit broken, but hard to remove it once it's in. Okay.
After Sage Faye leaves, or does she leave, or
if you indicate to her that if you indicate to her that the conversation is over, she'd leave the table and whatever, and definitely make her way out and what have you, as you would like.
After she is gone, I will turn to the others. So, the silver shipment. Why are we interested in investigating that?
In case there is embezzlement going on. We haven't found any evidence of it yet, but
why should we care about embezzlement?
The fact that the diviner mentioned something about us in regards to the shipment is concerning. Also, I would hate to prove them wrong. That would just be rude.
However, Mother Fuhan wished to enlist our aid in capturing the shipment. If the diviner has forewarned the shipment guards, they may treat our approach as a hostile one. This could lead to a considerable misunderstanding.
I don't know that would be a misunderstanding. I believe that would be exactly the intention that they would assume was the case, because that does in fact sound like what we would be doing.
Yeah. So we've gathered that the silk shipment in the early afternoon-ish will be leaving from the docks and going down the river and out from Yizhao. So you don't necessarily have to approach it before it leaves. You have to approach it as it's leaving. You can always leave the city along with it, sneak up on it whenever you do the guys like. That's also an option.
We also could just sink the boat.
Yes.
Of course, but we could also leave it alone and focus on other things. If we do not appear as expected, that will make the prophecy void.
It's fine. I just need to get really angry in the vicinity.
Oh, there are much, much more subtle ways of sinking that boat, but not to worry on that front. I am also of a mind to disregard the silver if we have other plans regarding and Krim sets down the slightly cracked teacup that he's been holding and gestures to the scroll.
Yes.
Also, Mother Fuhan, I think what she explained that, she wants to get the shipment back to give it back to the people so that, they'll have, some more money that the governor stole from them, big quotes, and what have you. So it's not just to thwart the governor, it's also to help the people, to be a Robin Hood.
And I'm not entirely sure I trust Mother Fuhan.
I don't think I trust anyone we've met.
Yeah, I don't really trust anyone in the city at this point.
You can always have, red intentions. You're talking with people. Social role. Hiya. Does anyone want to retcon and roll against the sage or something?
I suck at read intentions because I don't have empathy.
What is the read intentions roll?
A perception and empathy, as far as I remember.
All right. Let's go ahead and I will.
Difficulty 6. Yeah, she explained what. She let her guard down to let you know kind of what she's up to. So yeah, roll that, and based on how many successes you can get different things. Let me find this.
Here we are. All right. Lunars begin play with all versions of excellency of the shifting moon, which correspond to their cast and favorite abilities. Excellent. So I will take the time, since I'm being slowed down by the hostile effect, I assume here as well?
No, not here. Only in the Mulberry District President of Altar and in the Governor's Palace specifically. So over here, we're fine.
Even better then. So that'll be 1 mote for my Perception Excellency for 8 dice. And the difficulty was what again?
Difficulty 6, as far as I remember.
All right, that will be 5 successes.
5 successes. So you get to know their nature. Let me pull her sheet up. Where is she? Beautiful Sage Faye. Her nature is Paragon. She pretty much believes everything she said to you that there is a corruption from the low people bribing the officials and have you. Everybody's living lax lives, and yeah, she 100% believes the hook, the pattern, hook, line, and sinker. She believes that what she told you about the river chart is true and what have you. So yeah, she didn't lie at all during that whole exchange.
Excellent. Someone we can actually trust.
Well, trust not to deceive us anyway.
Yeah.
I
She's true
don't
to
entirely
herself.
trust-
Which is sometimes all you need.
So anyway, you guys were saying about your plans.
I do think we should talk to the royal censor, though.
Agreed.
The other people on the list that we haven't talked to.
Okay.
So we'll disregard the silver and continue on with investigating.
Okay, then. The silver shipment will leave in the afternoon. But before that, before you leave, you see that it strikes high noon. Suddenly, everybody, right as it's getting to noon, everybody starts to close their shutters. Everybody are just leaving the streets and what have you. You see to be a little bit of panic. Now the doors are closing and what have you. And then, when it is high noon, suddenly, like a minute, the sky turns from bright and shining, spring day without any clouds to be just covered with churning black clouds. And then it starts pelting hail, like big, thick balls of hail. And it starts storming, lightning striking, the buildings in the city over and over and over, just setting some things on fire and have you. And this whole thing lasts for 3 solid hours. Do you do anything? Do you ask questions?
I mean, I'm going to go out in it because I'm an air aspect. This is my jam.
And Krim is not going to go in it because lightning strikes are not the best.
Okay, as an air aspect, do you have some kind of immunity to such things? Explain this to us.
No, I don't have that charm, but...
Well, then you're getting pelted by hail. Do you want to soak that damage? Do you still want to proceed?
No, I think...
Do you burn off limit because you're outside in a storm? How long does that go on?
Air aspects don't have a limit. They have the...
Essence fever.
Yeah. You have the weakness where you have some mode of operation that you can't tend to follow. And have to look that up what exactly air aspects are. So anyway, continue explaining your stuff while I look this up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay inside then. I bet it might be fun flavor, but not worth taking damage over.
I mean, yeah, this would be cool flavor if this wasn't a supernaturally induced magical punishment storm. So, you will be nice in the storm, but this is, hostile in a magical sense.
So this is consistent with the eponymous storm of Yizhao?
Yes.
That has been happening like clockwork?
Yeah, every 7 days at the strike of noon, this is what's happening. Each and every week. And it's getting worse. It's been getting worse for 3 months now.
It occurs to me, this might be the perfect time to take a closer look at the altar. But maybe for me, not anyone else.
I can go with you. I And my plan, if I do go, Peter, my plan is to use my chakra. To basically use as a thrown weapon to break up the hail before it hits me on the head.
Okay, well, definitely there'll be some rolls involved for you guys not to get hurt by this. Okay, is Lunar also joining?
I mean, at that point, it seems like it would be the thing to do.
Okay, so out of character, full disclosure. Yeah. I think I have a way around this where I wouldn't have to make rolls.
Okay. What do you have?
So I was offering the other, I was thinking that maybe my character can go investigate the altar while the other group can investigate something else at the same time. Because if I remember correctly, the sensor is close by.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I was setting up out of character. Trying to set up. If you guys are cool with that.
It's like, you won't miss your talk with the sensor. He'll be available after the storm, your afternoon slot. But yeah, if you specifically want to go to the altar right now, as you'd expect that there will be less people watching or everybody will be distracted, you can definitely do that as well. I guess you want to be using your environmental regulatory implants to be immune against this?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd probably give it to you, yeah. That, you can be immune for the next 25 hours to this thing.
I mean, if they're good enough for the elemental pull of lightning, I think they'll be all right here.
Yeah, it definitely is something unusual, but, this is environmental damage, and, I'll give it to you. Because, Atrocotania's way harsher than this. Okay, so let's take a quick break, and let's prepare to go to the altar. And we're back. Okay, so Rock, explain to us what your plan is. What are you doing? How are you surviving this storm?
So, for me to survive the storm, I would just spend a mote and activate environmental regulatory implants, which sets off a whole chain reaction of various buffles and reservoirs within the body that make adaptation for pretty much any hostile environment for the next 25 hours. So I believe I can just go outside.
Yeah,
and
pretty much your Autocatonian protection is more rugged than this storm at this current level, I'd say, in general. So you will be able to survive this, no problem. You're protected against this. Your body is hardier than that. So
now my question is, do the others want to come with me, or do they want to do their own scene of some sort? Because it changes how I would go to the altar.
We can stay here if you prefer.
Yeah, probably.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, probably easy this way. You can also figure out what you want to do. If you need to make a decision with the group together, or if you want to just go by yourself and enact your plan. Your call.
Well, if the group is cool with it, I'll try to make it quick. Rock will just step outside, activate Wings of the Raptor, and fly to the altar.
What do Wings of the Raptor do?
Wings of the Raptor give one ability to fly as a complex action.
Awesome. Is that a charm, or is that something else?
It's an artifact.
Artifact. Awesome. So you use your artifact and you take off in this storm, which for pretty much anyone else would be impossible, but you're ruggeder than this. So you bypass the large wall that separates this district and the Mulberry district, and you can head to the altar of heaven as you want.
And once there, we'll land. I'm assuming it's slightly sheltered.
Once again, the the Altar of Heaven is in the middle of the Mulberry District. It's in a nice park. It's on like a raised platform and what have you. Normally you'd see a number of guards here. Now you see like a few guards and like some small shelters that are around it. But the visibility in here is low, so you don't expect them to be able to notice you all that much. Yeah, there are definitely people still on guard here, which is strange, but hey, you do upright. They believe that the duty above all else and what have you.
Heard. Well,
Yeah,
in that case, I will try to sneak into the altar, examine it, probably take a sketch of the remainder of it that I did not get sketched from the first session, and see if there are any interesting readouts.
Well, it is a let's see. It is quite a large obelisk pillar cylinder of orichalcum. It is like multiple meters high, whatever, and quite thick as well. So you wouldn't be able to get the whole reading of the whole thing. Yeah, it's surrounded by a small fence and what have you, but you can fly over that. You're fine. You can get to it and get as close to it as you want. As you get close to it, you notice that the river chat, if you took that with you, is sort of get magnetized to it. It's like, oh, it's definitely in where you're storing it. But like, if you let it go, it probably would get to the altar on its own from here. But yeah. There's definitely some ways of like interacting with it if you'd like to try it.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the thing about something being magnetized?
If you took the river chart with you, like in a pouch would have you, it starts to feel magnetized towards the altar of heaven itself. It tries to move itself towards it. Like it won't escape your pack if it's like safely stored. But if you drop it by itself, it would probably from this far off from it, it would just magnetize to it and fly towards it and stick to it pretty much.
Yeah, if it is with me, I definitely do not want those two things to come into contact right now.
Yeah, no, safely keep it apart. It's something you can consciously do. It's fine. It's not a trick or anything. Okay. So you want to interface with the altar itself?
Sure. I will. What interface options are
there? Let's see. I'll say that there is like a smaller like altar piece in front of the altar itself where you can kind of commune with it like you would with some machine interface. It's a little bit more familiar to you because you are Autocatonian and what have you. So I'd say it is something that it's probably let's say that it might be having some sort of hologlyphic display on it, which is kind of fancy for where it is at. But yeah, you have high occult, high int, and so on. So yeah, you'll be able to figure this out. And yeah, you have the old realm. So yeah, you kind of bring it up and yeah.
Yeah, start reading the status report. Start reading to see if it can display like more pinpoint the location of what it is detecting that is causing it to act out.
Okay. Roll me intelligence and occult at say difficulty. Let's say 9. This isn't something that you normally do.
You said 9?
Yes.
All right. I will spend a willpower on that.
This is where I probably would have come in handy, but
Yep, that is true. I will also spend for excellency.
Yep.
And that is 13 dice. 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. So you see that this thing has a lengthy arrow lock, it seems, and all of them are same message repeated for like, the whole year pretty much, which is, some sort of cardinal sin detected or what have you, something to that amount, and over and over and over. And within the last 3-ish months, what have you, it's serious cardinal sins detected, and over and over and over, and pretty much very repetitive in it, and what have you. It doesn't have a function to pinpoint directly, just that within the area of purview and where the altar can see, it detected something that's notable. So you got so many successes on the scroll itself. You know that one person doing something like this wouldn't be bad. Like, even if you had some sorcerer, someone in Yoma, and just have an affair with it for a while, that probably wouldn't be able to trigger it. This is something serious enough to warrant its attention, to warrant like Exalted coming in and dealing with this problem. So this is bigger than one person. Yes?
Are they just having massive orgies?
Well, it doesn't specify anything more than that.
Is there any indication that this thing has an animating intelligence?
It doesn't have a full-blown animated intelligence. It's a very basic, kind of like an automaton thing where you give it a set of functions, it follows them, ensures it is logical in some way, it has like perceptions and can, act based on rules given and so on, but it is more of an automaton than something that's animated.
Okay. So it wouldn't be able to give me any more information if I directly talk to it?
No, pretty much, if you wanted to get more information out of it, you'd have to change its parameters, and then you could start narrowing things down from there.
Got it. All right. Then I think that is all I will do for now, unless my team has anything to contribute, because I figure we will have discussed this before I left. All right. Any other questions you guys want me to do while I'm here?
Well, I mean, there is the definition that we knew it was carnal acts, and we know from the explanations of the pattern how it's supposed to define carnal acts. So are they actually carnal acts, or are they acts which are defined by the pattern as carnal and so are problematic?
Okay. Those are definitely acts that the pattern would define as carnal. So it is a carnal act that goes against, like filial piety or the 5 relationships, serving your ancestors, ruling by example, and what have you. So yeah.
Right. So it is someone is not following the method, and to elicit a change from just carnal acts detected to extreme carnal acts detected, would that be someone in defiance of the proper king?
If
or is that narrow?
Okay. Pretty much going against the pattern is like defying the true king. Because, that's pretty much like rules rule by example. They have to act as the true king, and so on and so on. Everything's all about emulating that one person. And if somehow you doing kind of things would go against that piece of blasphemy, heresy thingy, that definitely would consider it here.
All right.
Yeah. If you want to go.
Actually, you go on.
Well, yeah. If you want to quote unquote like suppress those warnings, like ignore cardinal acts as being against the pattern thing, you could make this modification right here. You are knowledgeable enough about this, especially reading the river chart, that you could excise this to make these storms stop for this specific kind of sinning against the pattern.
Can I pause current retribution functions?
Yeah, let's say, you could like indefinite pause. Would you like to do it all together for like everything that's going on, or would you like to just do it for these carnal acts that it's referring to?
Well, I don't want to shut down any of its defensive functions, so I think I'll just focus on
its morality stuff. Do you want to shut down all the morality for the time being, or do you want to just shut out the carnal clause?
Are there any error logs for anything else besides the cardinal acts?
Like if you go, let's say, deeper into the debug mode, like you see like it tracking something like statistics, let's say, of like other kind of sin, like, there's some greed going on, there's envy. You don't see a lot of murder there, but every now and then there's a small little spike that just goes away after a day, don't have you. So it's like, everything else appears to be baseline, like what you'd expect from city this size, this unhappy, let's say. There's definitely there's some corruption going on, what have you, but none of those have triggered the big retribution threshold. They're like, the people are being bad. Okay, send down minor bad luck, curses, and what have you, which is like the low level it operates on, which wouldn't be causing these storms. So still make this place more miserable, but it's like nothing that major.
I think I'll just pause the morality clause for now.
Okay, you disable the morality clause altogether for everything?
Sure.
Okay, so you apply that, the altar updates itself, and in that moment, the storms stop. Everything just like the hail stops, suddenly there's a drop, the lightning stops striking, and within a minute, all the clouds part. Do you want to exit the scene? Optical shroud. Perfect. So spend your essence plus extra essence because you're right in this presence of the altar.
Done and done. And I return.
You become invisible. Like, you could have returned without alerting them because, you still had like a little bit of like commotion, like, what's going on, and so on. So you wouldn't need to do that. But like, if you want to stay there longer, the shot definitely would be prudent.
Oh, if I could get away without it, then that's fine. I won't do that. Then I'll just fly back.
Yeah. Okay. So suddenly the storm stopped in the middle of the day, like an hour, 1.5 perhaps, out of the 3 hours that people were expecting. Everybody's confused by what's going on because they weren't expecting things to be better, and they started being better. And I think we wanted to call it a session here for now. Right?
Yep, that was the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been Peter.
I have been Alpha Wolf, playing Barano Suzume.
Felix, playing Resolver of Outstanding Questions.
And Relwery.
And this is sponsored by Nobody, signing off.